Morning, dear students. Once again, it's Biology Senior 6, Teacher Richard. The concept of the ecosystem as the second unit. We are moving to the point called secondary production. Secondary production, because we moved last time, we were seeing the primary production, the efficiency of the primary production. Now we are moving to the secondary production. So last time we saw that the primary production is the amount of energy formed while transforming the sunlight into the chemical energy in a given time, in a given period of time. So now we are moving to the secondary production. Secondary production. What is secondary production? If we saw what was the primary production last time, if you missed, you can go back and search the video about the primary production. If we saw what the primary production was, we can just relate and see what the secondary production is. The secondary production is the amount of energy that will be available or that will be transformed into the biomass of the consumer. Okay, that's can write this. Secondary production is the amount of energy that will be transformed or that will make into the consumers, let's say in a given period of time. Okay, in a given period of time, so dear students, this secondary production has the origin in the primary production. Okay, when the secondary production is available in the consumer, that's what we say it's in a given period of time, because we don't consider whole life, we consider a certain period. So this is for one organism. When it's for many organisms within the ecosystem, we calculate the total amount and we say that it's a gross secondary production. This gives a gross secondary production is the total amount of energy that will be transformed into the consumer's biomass in a given period of time, but in the whole ecosystem. And it is abbreviated as GSP. Okay, it's abbreviated as GSP. It's originates from the secondary production. Secondary production, of course, is from one organism, and when we say a gross secondary production, we consider all organisms or these consumers in the ecosystem. So we can have also what we call a net secondary production. Why do we say net? Because some of this energy is used in respiration and other metabolic activities. So that's why we say we have also the net primary production, which is abbreviated as NPP. Sorry, it's a net secondary production. It's a net secondary production which is of course abbreviated as NSP. Which is equals to gross secondary production minus some energy which is used in respiration. So, dear students, we can see that the primary production gives indirectly the secondary production, and secondary production is for one consumer. We have gross secondary production for the whole ecosystem, and when we remove energy used in respiration, we remain with the net secondary production. Now, we are going to see what we call the production efficiency from this. From this, we can base what we call a production efficiency. Okay, dear students, like I said, we are now moving to the production efficiency. What's a production efficiency? The production efficiency is calculated in terms of numbers, and it equals to, right, abbreviation like production efficiency equals to the net secondary production over assimilation of primary production okay, it's times 100%. What does this mean? When we are calculating the production efficiency, we take the net secondary production. We saw what the net secondary production is. It's the total amount of energy that will be transformed into the biomass of the consumer. And we divide by the assimilation of primary production. When we say assimilation of the primary production, we are referring to all the components of the organism taken by the organism which fed on the plant. And here we are going to give some example. Let's take this example. If a rabbit is an herbivore, which is of course a consumer, feeds on a plant, You see, if a rabbit feeds on a plant leaf that contains 200 joules and uses only 33 for secondary production, what's the production efficiency? What is the PE? You see? Now, for correction, how do we calculate this PE? The PE will be equal to the net secondary production times 100% over assimilation of primary production. What's the net secondary production? The net secondary production is 33 joule. Because this 33 joule is what will be available for the biomass of the rabbit. So that's why we say we have 33 joule times 100% over 200 joules, because it's the real assimilation of primary production. It's the real amount of the primary production. Why do we say it's the real amount of the primary production? Because the primary production here refers to the plant, and this leaf contains whole amount, which is 200 joules, and only 33 joules will be used by the rabbit for the secondary production. So we will divide by 200 joules, okay, and the answer here will be 16.5%, and this means that less than 70% will be used for the secondary production. And dear students, this is how we calculate the primary production, the production efficiency. We saw how we calculate also the net primary production, net secondary production, gross primary production, and gross secondary production. So dear students, this is it for the second unit, concept of ecosystem. If you missed the first points, other points about this unit, you just go on our YouTube channel, Ikaramu TV, or for details, go to www.ubumenyi.net for details. But I hope that you will have more understanding about this. And if you have a question, leave a comment on YouTube channel. I will answer them all. Okay? Thank you. See you next.